Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
That breaking news we are following this morning. Navy veteran and former Deputy Assistant Secretary Kishla Askins is announcing she is running for Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District spot. She is joining candidates John Kavanaugh, Denise Powell, Brett Lindstrom, Mark Johnston, and Evangelos Argiakis, who are all seeking Don Bacon's spot. Now, Bacon had previously announced he is not seeking re-election. All right, in the meantime, it is good to have you with us on this Tuesday on our First Alert 6 streaming. I'm Erin Hartley, joined once again just by Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lowe. We'll have some more folks back starting tomorrow.
Trickling back.
I know.
Real joys by the end of the show.
Indeed, indeed. All right, in the meantime, it is a First Alert weather day for tomorrow. Yeah. So let's get the details on how that starts to develop tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it does get going tonight after midnight when things start to pick up a little bit, and then some of that could linger into the morning hours tomorrow. So by the time you're talking to us or watching us this time tomorrow morning, it looks like most of the severe threats should be wrapping up, but we'll have to watch for the next round later on. So right now we're at 72, a little bit of a southeast breeze, kind of setting the stage for the thunderstorms that'll be later on tonight. The muggy meter is going to go up at times into the steamy range today, and with that, the heat index, as we climb to about 91 for the high, could get up into the mid-90s for a couple of hours this afternoon. So you'll notice that. Then we see the thunderstorms with the First Alert 6 weather day. So hang with me here. There's a lot going on. A line of storms after midnight tonight would move in, with gusty wind being the main threat from those. The atmosphere then tries to recharge during the day, and we get some severe potential Wednesday evening. Right now, I'd say the best odds along and south of I-80 with the development. But it all hinges on where the storms go tonight, on how much the energy it takes out of the atmosphere and what gets used up. And then is it easier to recharge, or is it a little tougher to recharge during the day? 3 out of 5 on the scale for severe weather later on today off to the west. That development will turn into a cluster of storms that races southeast after midnight tonight, and that will linger into tomorrow morning, and that's why we have the First Alert day starting up. But you can see as it moves southeast, it's likely to weaken some. The wind could even race out ahead of the storms and help to cut off some of the energy the storms use. So that's something to watch for with this line. And here's just what one model shows us. I think it tells a pretty good story. By 10 o'clock, there's the storms to the northwest. And you can see as they move a little closer, there's a little less to them. And that could be the wind right on the leading edge of these racing out ahead and kind of cutting off the energy that the storms need. This model suggests a little secondary wave in that 3 to 4 o'clock time frame. So I think the main window is probably midnight to 3, but there could be a little extra beyond that right into the morning hours of Wednesday, with a couple of storms lingering early to the south and southeast. So then we reset it for Wednesday with the best odds for severe weather because of that complex tonight. By Wednesday evening, probably being near and south of I-80 would be the best bet. And so if there's going to be a 2 added to this 1 somewhere on the scale, probably the southern half of our viewing area. But again, a lot to go, a lot to figure out. You got 2 different bouts where there could be some strong storms after midnight tonight, and then again Wednesday evening. Wind is the greatest threat from either one of them. Tornado threat, I almost took it off entirely. I think that's going to get pressed pretty well to the south, and we'll watch to see if any hail can get going, but mostly a wind event. 86 for the high there, then 76 on Thursday. Looks cool, quite a few clouds. Might be a tough day to warm up on Thursday after starting off in the 50s, I think.
That's like a September or October forecast day.
And they're pretty rare. We got a couple of those so far in July. And
I know.
Looks like we're getting another one.
Okay, that's fine with me. A nice little break between the hot days. Speaking of those hot days, more of those do return for next week, so don't necessarily bust out the jackets yet.
Yeah, we got some more heat on the way, and I think it's been a little while before we've started to see any heat and humidity have some long-term impacts in the month of July. Look at by the weekend and into early next week. That muggy meter gets up here into the steamy range, and I think it's going to park there a good chunk of next week. And what we're going to do is pair up a little more warmth with it. Now, the good news about the humid air, it's a little tougher to warm in the middle of the afternoon. The drier the air, the easier it can warm. But you'll notice near 90 on Monday and a lot of 90s next week with some drier conditions taking shape, including our back to school drive. So keep an eye on that. Even look a little farther, taking you towards the end of July here. That's a big area that's likely to have warmer than average temperatures. And by this time of July, average for us is about 88 degrees. So that's what we'll have to pay attention to. And watching the forecast, I think we're looking at a lot of 90s to round out July, so enjoy whatever 70s and 80s we can get right now.
I will, certainly. Okay, let's get an update on a traffic forecast for us this morning. How are things looking?
So far, it looks like things are pretty quiet around the area. A couple of things I have been watching are just some overnight closures due to bridge work. Those have all since opened up, but it is something to watch here as we go through. Let me see if I can backtrack here a little bit. There we go. Let's start back here. What's happening right now? You can see there's big time slowdowns there on I-80 as you're looking westbound, again in the Giles area, as this construction continues to take shape. Again, eventual lane widening project, but in the short term, it's causing reduction in lanes as they do the work. So there's your slowdowns through L, extending down towards Giles. Hasn't been too bad yet around 144th or 370. That did get a little worse in the 7 o'clock hour yesterday, so we'll watch that. I mentioned the overnight bridge work. Now let's get to that. Last night, 156 was closed down with some overnight bridge work across Dodge. I think that gets going again tonight, plus they'll add 168th to that as well with some bridge work across Dodge. You should still be able to use the on-ramps and off-ramps, but you won't be able to travel right across Dodge on 168th. So keep that in mind through the overnight hours. That's 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. the way things are looking. Otherwise, a lot of green on the map right now, which is good news. Hopefully we can keep it that way over the course of the morning. We'll see how things go. But right now, no weather getting in the way. We'll just see how the sunlight and humidity affect things as we go through the next hour.
All right. Sounds good. Rusty, thanks.
You bet.
A person is in the hospital after being hit by a car. This happened near 20th and Miami. We're told crews were called about the crash at around 9:15 last night. So far, no word about what caused that collision or the extent of those injuries. Bond is set at $1 million for the man accused of killing 2 people in a head-on crash. Christian Stevens is charged with 2 counts of deadly DUI. Investigators say the 22-year-old was found driving the wrong way on I-480 near 14th last Friday when he slammed head-on onto another car. 2 of the 4 people inside that car died. Stevens allegedly told officers he made a wrong turn. Investigators say he tested at 0.08 hours after the wreck. That is exactly the legal limit to drive. A Nebraska group known as Rapid Response will soon send 15 groups of volunteers west of Kerrville to help with the devastating aftermath of the flooding down there. Last year, they helped several Nebraska and Iowa communities hit by severe storms. While it may be a long road ahead, Rapid Response says it's all about helping your neighbor, even if they live many miles away.
And so we just want to try to nudge them into the new normal so that they feel accepted and wanted and that they're cared for even in the midst of their darkest times.
Volunteers will leave for Texas on Sunday. They're asking for help loading supplies for their journey. You can find much more information on Omaha Rapid Response up on our website, firstalert6.com. Now to Maria over here at the safety desk. Maria, nicotine patches are growing in popularity.
Yeah, there is a new study focusing on this because they're also a fast-growing source, unfortunately, of nicotine poisoning for really, really young kids. So exposures from nicotine pouches went up more than 760% between 2020 and 2023, according to the study. The pouches are increasingly popular with teens and young adults. A study co-author says the pouches draw children in because they have high concentrations of nicotine and also because of the taste. Now, according to the CDC, pouches have become the second most used nicotine product amongst young people. So they're increasingly becoming more available for young kids to get their hands on when they shouldn't be.
All right, I always see a lot of talk about it on social media. All right, switching gears now, moving on to more of our health. About 13 million Americans are impacted by a seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, this really impacts a lot of people. Typically, it's seen more in the colder months, fall and winter, but experts experts say that this is something that can happen here in the summer as well. The American Psychiatric Association says that some people, again, might also experience this in the summer months. If feelings of irritability, frustration, anger, or stress last for days and begin to impact your family, relationships, your school, or your work, that could be a red flag. Experts say if you do notice any changes in your sleep or changes in your energy, those are some signs that you should see a doctor too.
Heat can impact serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain. And already people with mood disorders have a dysfunction in that neurotransmitter. So heat sort of exacerbates or makes mood worse in those folks who have that sort of genetic vulnerability for mood disorder.
Experts say there are some treatments for people who suffer from mood disorders, and that includes cognitive behavioral therapy and medicines that can help relieve these symptoms as well.
Okay, that's good to know. Marie-Kate, thank you. All right, we're back after this. All right, the time now 7:15 as we get started on this Tuesday morning. Taking a live look outside. Sun really bright overlooking the Midtown and the downtown areas this morning. Going to be a hot and a muggy forecast for your Tuesday, and this is heading into severe storms, potential for severe storms, I should say, heading into later on tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy stretch here over the next couple of days. So today's weather is quiet enough. If you need to find a way to keep cool, probably the best pool weather we'll have for a little while, as you'll have some storms to dodge in the afternoon, potentially tomorrow, and then more so in the evening. So today's afternoon high of about 90, 91 degrees with humidity, dew points that are up here in the muggy to steamy range. Yeah, you're going to notice the moisture in the air and guarantee it today. Low 90s on the way for highs this afternoon across much of the metro. And that leads us into the first Alert 6 weather day for Wednesday with a line of storms after midnight, bringing with it some gusty wind. That tries to take some energy out of the atmosphere. If the wind races out ahead of the storms, then I think we're going to have more issues with some energy to work with on Wednesday evening, where the best odds may end up being along and south of I-80. So a complicated forecast, but here's how it goes. This orange shaded area here, 3 out of 5 storms will fire here later on today. And then later on this evening, they'll form into a line and start to move southeast through our area, but it won't be until after midnight, most likely. With that, the wind could race out ahead of them. We could get some 50, 60, 65 mile per hour wind gusts, but that also kind of cuts off the energy for the storms that they would need and leaves a lot of it around. So if that happens, which some models suggest, that would leave a lot more for Wednesday. If this holds together a little better moving through, that leaves less for Wednesday. So after about midnight, we'll watch the leading edge of this be the wind maker. And you can see how that little bit fizzles. This could be the wild card here. If this little second batch develops heading into the 3-4 o'clock hour on Wednesday morning, that may be enough to zap some of the energy. But I think our main window is probably midnight to 3 a.m. for most of us with that first line. A few lingering early in the day on Wednesday should move out pretty quickly. And then we'll watch for new potential here. I would say the best odds, regardless of how things play out tonight, by Wednesday evening, the best odds are going to be near and south of I-80 in our area, and that's where a 2 out of 5 could be added to this severe weather risk map over the course of the next 24 hours. Tornado threat, thank goodness, with the latest trends, have started to look like more of a problem down in Kansas and Missouri, if there even is one. So I think we'll mostly watch for wind with either round of storms, whether it's the ones overnight tonight or the ones by Wednesday evening. And then hail potential also there as well, but not quite as great as the wind potential. A check here of the Wednesday storm setup anyway. You can see scattered thunderstorms in the area for Wednesday morning. Those move out. You get a chance to recharge, perhaps a few in the afternoon, but the better odds will be after 7 o'clock. Watch how those bubble up. These will likely have the strength if there's going to be those there, and that's what we'll have to watch for Wednesday evening out of these. And you look towards the weekend, you got a 76 in there Thursday morning. Look at that morning low on Thursday, 59 degrees. So some cooler air settling in behind that first alert day.
That might be a nice change after the heat that we've been getting.
No kidding.
Looking at our 10-day, the back-to-school drive already in that forecast too.
And it's looking like heat's going to be the story next week. The question is how much. Some models really go warm, but ultimately over the last few days and even week or so, we've been falling short of what computer models have been saying for the heat, mostly because it's been really humid with it. So you'll notice a lot of 90s next week look to be in the cards, and you look a little longer range as well. And I think we're going to be talking 90s there. So keep that in mind. If you want to come by this back to school drive, you can stay in the air conditioned car for that next Thursday. We'll do all the heavy lifting. We'll be out there in the morning when it's cooler anyway. Come by in the morning, say hi to us. It'll be a lot more enjoyable.
Yes, indeed. All right, Rusty, thanks.
You bet.
An Omaha restaurant is temporarily closed after an employee compliance review. The owners of Fernando's Cafe and Cantina received a subpoena from the Department of Homeland Security. Now it asked for the documentation of their employees. There were no ICE operations involved. We spoke with the owner of Fernando's about the biggest challenges now that he's navigating.
The fear and my employees, not the ones that departed, but all of them, of how they're going to feed their families and take care of themselves. And it's scary for me and Carol. We're financially tied to this as much as they are.
Well, he does plan on reopening the 114th and Dodge location as soon as today. Happening today, Metro Transit public meetings will continue. Metro is asking for your feedback on new policies and additions. The next meeting is today at the Omaha Public Library's South Omaha branch. There's also one Thursday at the Florence location, and then again Sunday at the Exarban Farmers Market. Coming up, this isn't your ordinary makeup product. We'll give you all the details when we come back. Well, Chipotle is bringing back its Lipotle Lip Stain. It sold out not long after last summer's release.
Yeah, this year it's an avocado-inspired lip stain that dries into a metallic green tint. You saw it right there. After letting it dry, and then you can spray it with your activator, you peel the top layer off, and then it actually reveals that nude rose shade underneath that's right there in the middle.
Okay. More promising. This is the second year Chipotle has been collaborating with cosmetics brands Wonder Skin to release the product. It's available for $29 exclusively at wonderskin.com starting today. That's kind of a hefty price. Okay, so that looks, I think, really good on this woman's skin tone.
I was going to say, she pulls it off.
I don't want to speak for you, but
I
would not.
I agree.
I would not. But the nude is nice.
Color, I like the after.
Does it taste like guacamole too? Or is it?
I don't know about that.
Feels like it has to, right? I don't know.
Well, it's funny because Elf came out with the Chipotle collaboration,
yes, makeup
and that was really popular too. And it was like a spread. It was like a spread of everything you go down the line.
Remember that.
Oh,
and the shades were called like rice and beans, fajitas.
No kidding.
And that was like really popular.
All right.
So we'll see if they ever bring that back too.
I think it should taste like the food, but that's just me.
Well, there have been some
just
makeup
hungry right now.
products
That could be it too.
There have been some makeup products though that smell or even taste at some points like food. They're
I'm learning so much
peanut
here.
butter
I have a daughter.
and
I gotta learn these
jelly,
things.
chocolate.
Charlie's gonna go to you. Dad, please. Can I have Lipotle?
Ask your mom.
All right, now time for our team to prepare for our update in the Today Show. We'll give you a bird's eye view as we work. You can watch that cut-in right here on this stream or over the air. Thanks for watching. Have a great start to your Tuesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good morning. The time now is 7:26 on this Tuesday. I'm Erin Hartley. It's good to have you with us. Let's get an update on a crash this morning with Senior Chief Rusty Lord.
Yeah, new one to talk about, 21st and Cornhusker. It's in Sarpy County here. You can see some slowdowns, especially on the eastbound lanes, and some decent slowdowns around 25th as well. So we'll see. They might be causing a little bit of a backup in some spots. So be mindful of this right off the JFK. Otherwise, you got your big time slowdowns on I-80 going westbound, and you can see how those extend from the 680 interchange all the way down to Giles, per usual. Some slowdowns still around the 370 and 144th Street exits as well, as everybody's trying to get on the interstate and get where they need to go. Let's take a look at the forecast that has some ups and downs in it over the course of the next few days. Right now, we're starting off pretty mild. 72 degrees. The dew point is 66. So it's muggy out there. It's pretty warm. The muggy meter is going to jump a little bit over the course of the day, may occasionally get up into the steamy range. So bank on a humid one as we climb into the lower 90s today. Last 90s we have for a little while, the way it looks, as it'll be much cooler the rest of the week. But heading into Wednesday, there'll actually going to be some storms after midnight tonight. They try to move in with a line of gusty wind up near 60 miles per hour. We'll have to watch. Then the atmosphere will try to recharge for Wednesday, where the severe potential may be a little greater again by Wednesday evening, with the best odds near and south of I-80. So this is for overnight tonight after midnight. You can see strongest storms west, and they'll move east, weaken a little, but still could have some wind as they move through after midnight. Aaron?
Breaking news we are following this morning. Navy veteran and former Deputy Assistant Secretary Kishla Askins announcing she is running for Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. Askins is joining numerous other candidates. Don Bacon previously announcing he is not seeking re-election. Time now 7:28. We're back here in about 25 minutes with another update.